We turn to the incredible story of a Quad City woman who is truly beating the odds. This is Melanie Putnam, and 13 years ago, she had to undergo an incredibly risky double lung transplant at the University of Iowa. Most people who get this surgery are not alive 10 years later, but Melanie is. In fact, she's joining us right here on The Current, coming up in our second half hour. But before that, I want to introduce you to the team that helped save Melanie's life. So we sat down with Dr. Julia Klesny-Tate, medical director of the lung transplant program at University of Iowa Healthcare.
We are so honored to be joined by Dr. Julia Klesny-Tate. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Why don't you start off by introducing your job and what you do when it comes to lung transplants?
Okay. Well, I'm the medical director of the lung transplant program here at the university. And what the job entails is taking care of patients that have end stage lung disease and making that difficult decision about when it's time for them to go to transplant.
I think people don't realize how low some of these survival rates are. Talk to me about what the survival rate is for a lung transplant patient 5 years post-op.
So currently, 5-year survivals for lung transplant are somewhere around 58 or 60%. Lung is a very difficult organ to protect from the environment and from infections. And all patients that have transplantation require immunosuppression. So it's a very, very difficult patient population.
I can only imagine. So let's talk about something that's even more difficult in that realm. Tell me what LAM is.
So it's a mouthful. It's leiomyomatosis, and we all call it LAM for short because it's such a huge name. But what it essentially is a disease that, for the most part, affects young women. The average age of onset is in the 30s, so really getting women at the prime of their life. And what we find is that these patients develop smooth muscle like cells that can attack different parts of the body. And in the case of lung transplantation, for the patients that have significant lung disease, they get cysts in their lungs, and these cysts go on to rupture. And when they rupture, it makes it very difficult for the patient to breathe.
And I can also imagine that this is not something that a lot of doctors or pulmonologists have experience with if it's so rare.
No, you're absolutely right. It would not be uncommon for a doctor to have never seen a case of LAM in their career. It's a very rare disease. So Melanie was very fortunate that she came to the University of Iowa, where her disease was quickly recommended.
Our viewers, we live 45 minutes, an hour away in the Quad Cities, but even throughout our viewing area, we're drivable to the University of Iowa. People know that the university is known for its healthcare and its cutting edge healthcare. But what makes your pulmonology team so special?
Well, so I think that what makes it special is that we have physicians that have expertise in all different kinds of rare diseases, and I, as a transplant pulmonologist, work closely with the rare disease physicians so that we're in constant communication about patients who are at risk to require lung transplant. So again, in Melanie's case, when the situation was grave, they contacted my team immediately, and we came to evaluate her.
How rare is it that Melanie is alive and doing so well 13 years after the fact?
So she has the special sauce. The 10-year survival for lung transplant is around 25%. And so most patients that we transplant are not going to see a 13-year anniversary. So it's really spectacular for our team to be part of taking care of Melanie and see her do so well.
Julia, before I let you go, I want to go back to organ transplants and organ donations. I mean,
Yes.
earlier, I was actually just at the DMV this morning and had to check off that box.
Fantastic. Everyone should check the box.
That's what I was going to ask you about is what is your message for people when it comes to the idea of organ donation?
I think the message is sign your driver's license, because there are over 100,000 people waiting for transplant, and 17 people die every day. And so if people take the time when they're just at the DMV to sign it, then their families know what they want if there is a tragedy, and there's something good that can come out of that tragedy.
Especially when you got a team like yours. Julia, thank you so much
Yes,
for your time.
absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Anytime. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about transplantation.
Yeah, we hear it all the time, how important organ donation is, and make sure you stick around because Melanie herself is joining us right here in studio in our second half hour. Hear her message on defying every odd coming up in about 20 minutes.